All right, guys, questions for Coach Brownell as we get ready for the Virginia Tech game tomorrow?
I guess the big question is how the guys will respond and then continue the level they established on Saturday.
Yeah, anxious to see how we come out and play. Certainly coming off a great win, and you know, we had good practice yesterday. Anticipated good practice today. But especially with a younger team, you sometimes worry about you know, sense of urgency. I think that's always an issue with guys that are a little bit younger. Having said that, I hope we're, you know, really ready. We've practiced pretty well. We've met. I think we're set in terms of a plan, and now you got to go out and execute. You got to play. You got to make shots. Got to be aggressive, and hopefully the confidence that some of the guys gained from the Duke game will carry over, and you'll start to see good play consistently well from several guys. I mean, we need consistency, and that's what we're hoping to see from some of the guys after their good play against Duke.
It looked like Jordan from the Florida State game, he learned something where he talked about how they came out with a lot of energy and had more energy than they did, and vice versa, they did the same. You guys did that to Duke.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, sometimes I think it's easy to say just, you know, energy and buzzwords like that. I think those are true in certain situations. I don't know that they had more energy against Florida State. I think their athleticism and length and determination was really good, and I thought ours was reasonably good. You know, both games certainly we made more plays offensively in the Duke game, and everything looks better when you're doing that. But consistency of effort has been reasonably good for us this year. You know, it's easier to have that kind of passion and things at home. I think when you go on the road, that's where you sometimes have to generate your own juice a little bit, and hopefully that is something that our guys have learned. We have played some true road games, you know, at Auburn and at Arkansas, and obviously the Charleston trip, and now Boston College. So we have been away from home a few times, and you know, hopefully after the Boston College win, that gives us a little more confidence for performing on the road.
When a guy starts to contribute, sometimes, a lot of times happens progressively over games he builds up to it. All of a sudden, Jerron gave you a performance that he hadn't. Mm-hmm. Now, how much does that, as you and the coaches now game plan? I mean, that's sitting out there, the big game you had on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly are. You know, you're happy for the kid, and you're not going to change your whole offense because of a game or two that a guy does. But certainly, you just hope your player, like Jerron, you know, is more aggressive in certain situations when you want him to, and you tell him, hey, these are attack situations, and you need to make the right reads. Hopefully, he shoots the ball with confidence and continues to shoot it with confidence. But I think one of the things that we've pointed out to him was that his good play started with, you know, a little bit more of the junkyard dog mentality that we've been looking for from him, and what we recruited him to be when we saw him both in high school and camp and AAU, where he just was an aggressive rebounder, you know, leader. You know, he played on a team with all kinds of stars on his AAU team, and he was a guy that probably played harder, longer than anybody on his team. And that was one of the things that attracted us to him. And you know, from that his the other good plays happened, the threes in the second half. But you know, I mentioned this in the press conference. He got a tip dunk, first tip dunk of the year, I think. He got a 3-point play opportunity with an and one on a foul. Those are the kind of plays that give you a lot of energy, that are hustle plays, toughness plays. Those are the plays Jerron needs to concentrate on consistently, and the other things, the shooting, and some of the other things will follow.
Is there a balance after a game like that you have to strike in preparation for the next one? Not talk too much about the great win and try to turn the page?
Yeah, we put that to bed. You know, guys were done Saturday. We gave them Sunday off as our day off this week. We met Monday morning. We don't do that all the time, but we did meet Monday morning at 7 and watch film, and I talked to him for about 45 minutes. And just kind of tried to put the Duke game to rest, some things we wanted to teach from the game. And I wanted to make sure it was all done so that we weren't still talking about Duke on Monday afternoon. I just didn't think that would be good for our team to be talking about Duke and going over clips of Duke and then starting to practice for Virginia. I wanted the afternoon to be all Virginia Tech. And so that's the way we tried to handle it.
What's your progress report so far on City and Ibrahim?
I think City rebounds the ball at an exceptionally high rate. Just has a knack for it, knows for it, hunger for it. And that's, you never know those kinds of things all the way in recruiting, but I think I don't want to say a surprise that way, but maybe a little bit of a surprise only because at the rate that he's rebounded. It's exceptionally high for a young guy. Defensively, pretty solid for a young guy in the post, fighting in there and being physical and learning some different ways that we play ball screens and doing different things. Pretty good. Offensively, it's been a little more of a struggle, just remembering plays and understanding the right thing to do all the time, and then just his offensive skill set. It needs work. But he's done a solid job, and he's physical. He brings that presence that you need, that I think is significant, and so he's been very good. Ibrahim has probably surprised me a little bit the other way. He's a really good shooter and can make threes, and in the fall was shooting the ball unbelievably well. We do drills, and he would just shoot the ball at a high level, make 10 threes, and he would be in the top 4 or 5 guys on the team in terms of getting shots, being the first guy done, or whatever it was. I mean, he shot the ball. We knew his strength would be a problem. We hoped that being a little older that he would be able to overcome some of that. Right now that's been a problem, probably a bigger problem than we anticipated. And, he's had some trouble. He hasn't been able to figure out ways to use his length to offset some of his physical limitations. And the speed of the game has probably been a touch faster than he's used to, and so that's contributing to missed shots and being a half step behind on a defensive play or a rebound or whatever it is. So a little bit behind where I thought he would be. Still optimistic that there's a chance for him to turn it around. I think, junior college players, very few of the guys that I've ever coached at that way have gotten off to great starts. They're usually very inconsistent and then kind of get into their stride either at some point in the second semester of their first year or, their last year is when they usually play best.
Thought that loss maybe in Jerron's great effort the other night was Landry a little bit. And just talk about his aggressiveness and how different he looked Saturday.
Well, he was good. The rebounding, the putbacks were tremendous. He's had some other games where he's gotten a few rebounds and hasn't finished, and those are things that we're working on with him. We certainly went to him a couple times because he was bigger than the Duke players inside. Jabari Parker, when he was at the 5 and they kind of downsized, he's more of a natural 4, and they put him at the 5. We kind of wanted to go at that a little bit, and I thought that was good for us. Defensively, he's been great. Just been great. When he can stay out of foul trouble, it's a major help for our team defensively because of his ability to move his feet, his length, ability to protect the front of the rim. And I agree with you. The thing that I've been really pleased with Landry is his rebounding. His rebounding is pretty good. He's getting 7 rebounds a game in 23 or 24 minutes, whatever it is. That's pretty solid. Could be, there's a little room for improvement, but that's a coach picking at a scab a little bit, to be honest with you. I think we would have taken that if you told us that in the fall that's what he was going to do, I had confidence that Landry was going to be able to defend and rebound. I kept saying that's all we need him to do, defend and rebound. A couple putbacks here and there, scratch out a few points, but we thought that defensively he was definitely ready to come in and play because he's a bright guy too. And so when we changed ball screen situations and assignments, and we're more complicated probably than most teams defensively. I think we make more adjustments game to game. We make more adjustments within games than most people ever do, and some of our guys really get good at it. And as the longer they're in the program, it becomes a point of pride. And Landry's one of those guys that's always been intelligent that way and can figure things out, and you just have confidence that he's going to make the right play most times. Now, there's still mistakes as a young player, taking a bad angle and certain situations with fouls that he's learning, but his defense and rebounding for a young player, that's really what's made a major impact on our team.
Is it not a hidden benefit also for a defensive-minded team to have two guys combined for like 70 blocks? I mean, that's got to be a luxury that two coaches
Yeah,
have.
I've never had that. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Devin last year could do some of that with KJ, but certainly having two guys, KJ, the one that's you just don't plan on. You recruit a kid like that, well, he'll block a few shots and all that, but again, you don't know that he has that kind of timing. We didn't see him that many times to know consistently that he's just got that kind of timing, and we knew he was a great athlete. That, certainly there are just blocks that KJ just does on his own, that he just has the ability to do that changes things for your team. And sometimes those lead to fast break opportunities, which really helps your offense.
How much have you addressed over the course of the season the changing the block charge call? Has that changed, altered the way you?
We don't do as many charge drills. We don't talk about it as much. We're working on some things to be better on some baseline drive defending and things of that nature. I think it goes back and forth. They have called a few more charges, probably in me watching tape over the year on film and on TV and our games, than I thought they would. But it's still a little bit of a difficult thing to know how to teach a little bit, just because it's such a drastic change from what we've had in the past. So you still have to stop the ball. You got to emphasize being in position, but I don't know that you're always emphasizing taking charges, because you're kind of under the impression that most of those are going to get called blocks, and you don't want to put a foul on your guy. So it's been a little different.
Are you more comfortable with in that room that you have such good blocking?
Yeah, I think it certainly makes shot blocking an even greater premium, I think, because it's one way to protect the front of the rim. If you didn't have guys that were shot blockers, you used to try to take more charges. And the guys that, it's hard to get guys that are shot blockers to take charges. I mean, it's just not their nature. It's not in a lot of guys' nature to want to take a charge. But when you can't protect your basket otherwise, I think guys are more apt to try to do that, understand that, and willing to do it. Now it's kind of a little bit of an in-between.